Hey folks, I'm working today on installing my new deboxer. I have the uncapper mounted up where I want it, and now on the slings I've got my deboxer frame and a couple little complications I'll show you. This is a retrofit, right? I'm putting new deboxer on an older rack, so I'll turn the camera around and show you what I'm looking at. So ultimately these frame guides have to line up with these feeder chains. This overlaps with this. I don't think anticipate that being a problem. But down here, I've retrofitted a local motor to the, this is actually an auger I had built locally to the same specs as the Cowan one when theirs wore out on me. So the motor has these capacitor housing that interferes with there's about 2 inches of space there that I think I need. I also have this shield I made for the motor. That I can trim down pretty easy. It's just bolted on there. But that 2 inches I'm gonna be struggling to fill. So I either gotta turn that motor in an orientation that gives me that space. I noticed that on this side of that motor, and also the cylinder housing looks offset as well. So it's possible that can be reversed. So that's the next step in the process. All right, so it's always embarrassing how dirty things are when you've take a few covers off and find the parts the pressure washer doesn't reach. But the theory here is that this face mount motor should be able to spin on its mount once these 4 bolts are removed. So, got them loose, I think. And some of them we should be able to get with a ratchet. One. Didn't get that one. 2. The other 2 we'll have to do by hand. Now, there's only 4 bolts. There's only one surface of this thing that has the right contour. It's this one. So I want to turn it this way. It's probably a little bit honey stuck. I was anticipating that. So I've got a chain wrench here. Ooh, 1 notch too short. Oh, for crying out loud. Well, then we'll have to figure something else out. We'll try brute strengthening it first. Oh, there we go. Okay. Now that is going to leave this cord Now, I'm going to line this all up again. That's going to be the tricky. There we go. One. And make sure you get them all in before you tighten any of them too much. While I'm here, let's have a look at what this device is here. So this is I think it's a 3/4 horse motor that drives the auger that pushes the cappings and the honey into the pump. There is a worm gear reducer here. I think it's 20-to-1, might be more. And then inside, you can just see it there. There's a coupling. This is the worm gear reducer here, and then there's a flex coupling here. So the auger shaft isn't directly connected to the shaft out of the worm gear. There's this little, there's a fancy name, I don't remember what they are, but and that allows the fact that the angle might not be totally perfect. You don't get any metal fatigue because there's a rubber kind of connector in between those two chunks of metal that push each other, and so it's a pretty good design that way. And now I think we have what we need. Apart from a clean floor, we have what we need to next step here. So this that's holding my auger is going to have to be temporarily removed. I always wanted to have as few as possible things actually on the floor. I like everything, even if it's just a 1/2 inch up, it's way easier to clean underneath. So that's been my thinking along here. So I'll have to remove this, install that, and then redesign maybe how that gets connected because it'll interfere right now. And then my little plate to shield. I don't like honey and stuff getting the top of that motor fan, so I want to reinstall that plate and measure it so it fits nice. And then I think we're good to go. Okay, the next step will be drilling out this relatively large hole to put a bolt in. There's one here and there's one just over there. I've got everything clamped the way I want it to sit. I think everything's lined up. My stand I made out of aluminum. This is made out of stainless, so it should be a pretty simple matter to get those holes to line up, just because the aluminum will drill quite easy compared to the stainless. And so if I just put a bit down there, the stainless will guide the aluminum pretty much perfectly without any fear of the hole drifting on me or anything. So that's the plan. Let's put that into action. Okay, checking through my stainless steel bolt supply. I got a nice 3/8 pair of bolts here. And so I got the drill bit to match. I'm going to drill trending towards the far side of the hole, because the hole that Cowan gave me here is actually over 1/2 inch. It's geez, and it looks like it was probably cut with a laser. So they don't intend for you to use that. You could tow a battleship with the size of that hole if you could have used a bolt. So I'm just going to cheat. You can see here, I'm cheating to the far side of the hole. This thing's going to want to, if it moves, it's going to want to move that way. So I'm putting the bolt on that, what I call the far side of the hole. And of course, all those filings are why you clean up after you do the install. Oops. Perfect. Okay, that'll sit there. Oh boy, that's tight for my old hands. And finger tight will be okay for now. I haven't turned my camera on in a while, but I'm making progress here. I got this set up to support. Now I'm not convinced that it wouldn't be good to have a little something in there that's solid. And then I got the brace back on the auger, connected the air, and now I gotta just put on the infill table. The boxes will drop on here, roll in. So I just gotta tighten these bolts, and this has been the most awkward thing so far, is that these are not particularly this. I could maybe pull that roller out and make that a heck of a lot easier. I might do that. Stand by. Those rollers don't come out in any easy way, but I can, if I just stress this out enough, I can get my wrench in from the top. And so it'll just be a few minutes turning to tighten that right up. All right, there we have it. The boxes will drop on here from the hoist up above. Well, I guess it's right there right now, but it runs on that track up there. And I'm going to talk about that. I have a few people asking about how I made that, so I'll go over that sometime. Then the box will be pushed over, hit the foot switch, and that will push the frames up. The ears go past here, back down, they push in, and away we go. Oh, I do have to properly install this switch. So I guess that's the last thing to do here. And then we gotta wash it all down, get all these little filings and everything cleaned up before we open up anything that could contaminate. But yeah, so far so good. We're nearing the end of our uncapper deboxer install. I think I've got this lined up. It's not quite straight. That one's good. This one's got a little bit of a line there. I think the uncapper must have a slight flare, but I think that'll be okay. And then a thing I ran into, this switch, which was probably meant to be mounted on these two holes here. And on my old one was mounted way out here where it was handy. The new deboxer wants this area clear, so I can see why they don't put it there. Put it up here, which would make sense if you were operating this uncapper without a deboxer, but it's a bit of a reach. Right? If I'm standing at my operating station, you can see where my arm's going to be. So what I decided to do, based on the amount of cord they gave me to work with, didn't have a ton extra of this one, probably could have fished it through, was mount it. I just put a little extra piece of flange. This is aluminum, nice and easy to work, drilled 2 holes, and mounted it here. And this way now, when at least the switch is pointing the right direction, that's forward towards the extractor and reverse back. So at least the directional switch will make sense. So it looks there, and it's kind of out of the way, not blocking anything too serious. And then the stand is mounted. I've need a lot of cleaning up to do here, but otherwise there she sits. So that's how you install, and bolted down the thing. I only put 1 bolt in. I could drill that if I need to, but I don't think I need to.